thousands of people took to the streets in a protest against new laws by the government. The demonstrations started on Wednesday over labour law reforms, which was dubbed a slave law by critics. People were also upset about another law that plans to set up a new system of administrative courts, overseen directly by the government. Well, for more on this, we're going to speak to Gábor Tanács, who's been following the events in Budapest. Well, good morning, Gábor. Now, can you tell us a little bit more about these laws?
Yes, so we are talking about two laws. The one that incites more resistance is the amendment of the labor law, dubbed slave law by its critics. This amendment raises the number of overtime hours employers can demand from the workers from 250 hours to 400 hours. Also raises the time frame within which working hours are counted from 1 year to 3 in certain cases, but this is tied to a collective agreement. At first, this makes it possible for the employers to make people work on Saturdays and pay for the overtime within a 3-year time frame. Practically, this will mean, I think, that the great car manufacturers can make people work overtime when they need it and then send them on holidays and count the working hours in a 3-year time frame, and then the working hours will average out and they won't have to pay for overwork or overtime. That's the labor law. The other one is the administrative courts law that sets up a parallel court system that will handle the cases tied to the Hungarian authorities, so people can appeal against authorities' decisions to this court. And this court is tied to the judgment minister, the justice minister, so it might not be really independent. That's the main problem.
Well, a lot of anger there, Gábor.
So that's the two laws we are talking about.
Okay, so there's a lot of anger there in Budapest about these laws, and protests are expected again this weekend. What are protesters hoping to achieve?
Well, they want the government to withdraw the labor law, the labor amendment, and I don't know if this can be achieved. The protests will continue, and it all depends on if the government deems the resistance strong enough. Now, it's mainly students and people who are generally discontent with this government who are protesting, and it will depend on if the trade unions or workers who are hardest hit by this change will join in. We don't know yet. Trade unions are traditionally weak in Hungary, and they do not really oppose strongly the government's decisions. So we will see. I think the demos will continue in Budapest, it's for sure.